shut down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. With the loss, Kansas City dropped to below 500. They eliminated themselves from winning the AFC West for a 10th straight year. C.J. Stroud threw for over 200 yards and a touchdown, and Houston's defense did their job, forced Mahomes to throw 3 interceptions. So the Chiefs, continuing their playoff streak, is looking grim. With only a 14% chance to make the postseason, the Chiefs' 10 straight seasons of reaching the playoffs is the longest active streak and the longest in NFL history, behind the Patriots' 11-season streak. Is this Chiefs dynasty over? They did not look like themselves yesterday, Cam. What did you make of what you saw the Chiefs? Do you think the dynasty is coming to an end?
If it's not, it's surely in question. And as I was watching the game yesterday, there was a intensity that I really haven't seen in a lot of NFL games. That probably was the most physical game that I've probably seen all year. And that's what the Texans wanted it to be. The only reason why I question is the Chiefs dynasty over is because quarterbacks in the AFC are getting damn better. When you look around and you say the Patriots, Drake May, when you look at the Broncos with Bo Nix, when you look at the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, the Bills, obviously, the Chargers and the Texans with C.J. Stroud, quarterbacks around this division are going to make it extremely hard for the Chiefs, where Patrick Mahomes have been playing elite ever since he got the starting nod, for Kansas City. Guys around those teams are picking up their level of play, which in essence will now point their finger back at the Kansas City Chiefs to say, hey, are you guys going to keep staying ahead of the game? And that's going to be the biggest question to see if they're able to do that, inevitably bringing an end to that dynasty.
Yeah, of course the dynasty's over. We've watched this dynasty slowly start to become over for the last 2 years. And I say that not to jump on the I was first train. It sucks saying that. We've grown up over the last 8 years in this football world, and certainly in this industry with me, having Patrick at the forefront. To know that Patrick's probably not going to be in the playoffs. Also, the fact that Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson feel like they're not going to get in the playoffs, that stinks. And so this was a team that has gone to the playoffs 10 straight years. 10 straight years. That's the second longest streak in the history of the NFL, only behind New England, 2009 to 2019. It's certainly closer to that being over than not. And when I watch this team, Cam, Stephen A. Shea, feels like for 2 years, this team has lost a game or won a close game. They come on, post-game press conference, they go self-inflicted wounds. We got to clean up the penalties. We got to make catches and stop dropping the football. That's been 2 years now. This team's got 21 drops. That's the third most in the NFL. They got 4 more drops last night. 3rd down drop, 4th down drop. And I'd also say this, 76% of their offense, 76% of their offense is accounted for by Patrick Mahomes. Wide margin, most in the NFL. Wide margin. Can't do more. And it feels like we're in this world now with Kansas City the same way we've been with Buffalo and Cincinnati and Baltimore. Are we asking the quarterback too much? We've asked that question about those teams. And this team right now going into next year is $31 million over the cap. Can they figure that out? Yes. Can they redo it? Yes. But this version of this unbelievable dynasty, yeah, that's over. Can they have another one? For sure. It's just going to look very different.
Well, I wouldn't say very different. I mean, the fact is you're going to get a new tight end because I think Travis Kelce is going to retire. And you got to shore up that offensive line. Outside of that, I mean, if it wasn't for those couple of things, where would we be? How would we be talking about the Chiefs? Let's take last night's game into consideration. He finished with a 19.8 passer rating, which was the worst of Patrick Mahomes' career, okay? Three interceptions, sacked twice. A couple of those interceptions weren't his fault. When you look at the offensive line right now, the lack of protection, I mean, not only did you have 3 guys down, okay, and Josh Simmons, Trey Smith, and Jawan Taylor, but this kid Morris goes down and has to get carted off the field, and then you end up with a 5th-string tackle. So look at what they're dealing with right now. They're decimated with their offensive line, and that's a big-time problem. You fix that, okay? You don't have these problems. You don't have most of these problems. And so I'm just looking at it from the standpoint, I'm going to sit up there and say, if you're talking about this specific version, sure. That needs to end. But Patrick Mahomes there with Rashee Rice, with Xavier Worthy, with Thornton there, I don't think you look at the Kansas City Chiefs and say, oh, my God, I mean, they got to totally retool. They just got to buffer up the offensive line, get guys healthy, and obviously their Hall of Fame, first ballot, future surefire Hall of Fame tight end in Travis Kelce. I mean, this is probably the end for him. I think we all knew that. I think we all knew he just came back because of the way they went out in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. That's the only reason I think he came back this year. I think this is it for him. And so you got to replace him. That's about it.
Look, the offensive line, an issue, of course. But, like, the drops were a problem. The 3 turnovers by Mahomes was a problem. Third down is an issue, especially defensively. Like, I feel like I was expecting the offensive line to be the biggest of problems, and it felt to me like that actually was lower on the totem pole than everything else that happened yesterday.
You're 100% correct. This is a football team that has been bad on defense in the second half, bad on defense in third down. Offense is an issue. They're a lot over the cap. Like, this is not going to be just a fix.
Yeah, it's an issue, and it's something we're not accustomed to seeing. We always think they're going to have this fourth quarter magic, and they don't see.
Sunday Night Football delivered one of the most shocking moments of the entire NFL season, a moment Chiefs Kingdom never thought they would experience. On a night when Kansas City usually rises under the brightest lights, the unthinkable happened. The Chiefs didn't just lose, they collapsed. From the very first snap, something felt wrong. The offensive line, already patched together with backups, crumbled immediately. Pressure came from every angle, communication broke down, and the rhythm that once made this offense unstoppable completely vanished. And at the center of all that chaos was Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback who has made the impossible look routine, suddenly looking human. 3 interceptions, hesitation, missed reads, visible frustration on the face of a superstar who normally thrives in adversity. And if Mahomes struggled, Travis Kelce practically disappeared. 1 catch, 8 yards. A connection that once defined modern NFL greatness looked disconnected, misaligned, almost unrecognizable. The Texans didn't just contain Kelce, they erased him. But the moment that sent Chiefs fans into full disbelief came later in the game. Andy Reid, the mastermind, the Hall of Famer, the architect of a dynasty, made a decision that stunned everyone watching. 4th down, deep in Kansas City territory, a defense playing elite football. And he goes for it. He hands Houston a short field and hands them momentum. And the ESPN panel didn't sugarcoat it. It made absolutely no sense. That's where the game was lost. Andy Reid's game management was egregious. When the analysts who usually defend the Chiefs begin questioning the head coach, you know the situation is serious. Because the truth is harsh. This is not the same Chiefs team. This is not the same Mahomes. This is not the same offense. And for the first time in the Mahomes era, the dynasty feels shaken. The numbers don't lie. Kansas City has now lost 4 of its last 5 games. Playoff chances are slipping. Confidence is fading. And analysts are openly asking, is it over? One line from the broadcast hit hardest. Stick a fork in the Chiefs. They are done. For a fan base used to greatness, hearing that stings. But let's be fair. This team isn't just failing. It's hurting. A shredded offensive line. Receivers dropping 21 passes this season, 4 of them in this game alone. Constant injuries, miscommunication, momentum that disappeared weeks ago. Year after year, Kansas City has pushed through adversity. They've carried the weight of expectations, the pressure of being the hunted, and the burden of defending a dynasty that everyone else in the league wants to destroy. But even dynasties crack. Even legends stumble. Even Mahomes, yes, Mahomes, is allowed to struggle. And here's the part people forget. Great teams are not defined by blowouts. They're not defined by rings. They're not defined by easy wins or perfect seasons. They're defined by how they respond when everything is falling apart. This, right now, is the defining moment for the Kansas City Chiefs. Because when the world doubts you, when critics circle like vultures, when every mistake becomes a headline, when the dynasty is declared dead, that's when the true character of a team is revealed. And that's where Chiefs Kingdom comes in. Your team doesn't need quiet applause. They don't need celebration. They don't need confetti. They don't need cheers after a win. They need you now, when it's dark, when it's messy, when everything feels broken. Because football isn't just about perfection. It's about resilience. It's about belief. It's about loyalty when loyalty is tested. The Chiefs may be down. They may be bruised. They may be shaken. But this is not the end of the story. Not even close. If anything, this is the beginning of the comeback chapter. And when Mahomes writes that chapter, and he will. When Kelce responds, and he will. When Reid adjusts, as he always has. The fans who stood strong in moments like this will be the ones who feel it the most. Chiefs Kingdom. Stand tall. Stand loud. Stand united. Because the dynasty isn't dead. It's being rebuilt. And when the next rise begins, you will want to be here to witness every second of it.